Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Back Nine Report. Every week, my co-host Fred Altvater and I get together and check in on the world of golf to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Hey, you know what? We cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened golf, we have it for you. And today, yeah, you see me with the broadcast things today, so it's didn't have my speaker working, so had to improvise. But anyway, as usual, I have Fred with me. Fred, hi, how are you this week?
Carlos, another great week of golf. Man, we had a 59 on Friday. That was followed up by a 60 at TPC Boston. The first FEC, the first FedEx Cup playoff event, and the women were competing in the first major of 2020. I was glued to the Women's Open and Popov's win. What a great story that we get to talk about tonight. Top stories this weekend, Carlos. DJ dominated at the Northern Trust. A Symetra Tour won the Women's Open in Scotland. And oh yeah, Tiger played, but was not the main story this week. We got a ton of golf to talk about, so let's go. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. And as usual, we start with the recap with the weekend backspin, which is the recap of the weekend's action. And you mentioned Dustin Johnson. He won his 22nd PGA Tour title. He did it in style. He was there at the Northern Trust. He finished at 30 under par, 11 strokes clear of second place. Sorry, he didn't dominate it, their position. He obliterated.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like playing on a different course than everybody else. It was like, what was he doing? He said afterwards that he felt he was playing good, but that he found something on Wednesday. I don't know what that is, but if you found it, DJ, don't let it go because that was amazing. I mean, if I could compare this to something, I would have to go back to my horse racing Secretariat winning development stakes in 1973, record-setting fashion. And the jockey, Ronnie Turcotte, he looked back in the deep stretch and he goes like, where's the competition? There's nothing. There was nobody. I mean, he was amazing all weekend. He returns to number one in the world and moves to the top of the FedEx Cup standings as well, with just his 2 events left. He announced last year, at the beginning of the year, if you might remember, his intentions to skip the Olympics this year to commit to the FedEx Cup. So I bet we can be sure he'll be desperate to win the trophy for the first time. And of course, that little thing of $15 million bonus that comes with it. So he carded rounds of 67, 60, 64, 63 at TPC Boston to beat Harris English by 11 strokes. Sounds incredible. I can't even fathom that. I mean, and he's 30 under total, was just one shy of Ernie Els' records of 31 under for aggregate to par scores record. So his second round of 60, that's funny because it was dubbed the most disappointing round of 60 in history on social media. That was like the talk of the week after he played his final 7 holes in level par and still shot 11 under. I remember you texting me, hey, DJ is at 11 under. And I said like, yeah, after 12. But at that time, I said like, he's just going to go 57 or something like that. No, he stayed that because those last 7 were pars. But, for now, this is his 22nd win in the PGA Tour, second since the PGA Tour restarted. He won the Travelers Championship back in late June, but he did it in his first start since the PGA Championship, where he failed to convert what was back then his fourth 54-hole lead in a major. So this makes you think. I remember, Fred, when the restart started and he was playing in that in the tailor-made relief with Rory, and he was there with Reiki and Matthew, and we were seeing him just out of sorts. It was like he was nowhere, and we were like, man, if this is DJ right now, he's not gonna have a good year. But look at him now. He won the Travelers. He won here. He was leading the PGA Championship. I mean, he seems like the man to beat this next 2 weeks.
Yeah, but these same guy that shot those 80s right in there, right? Missed the cut and shot a pair of 80s. you know, he's been up and down. I think he said he had some problems with the back there for a couple of weeks, and evidently got that worked out. But this was a really, really impressive win, Carlos, without a doubt. It was phenomenal. I started texting you. He was 9 under through the front 9. And then he went 10 under. And then he went 11 under through 11. And then he strung off those pars. And 18 was the easiest hole in the golf course. And I thought, well, surely pick up, you know, birdie there and pick up 1 or 2 more. He's going to be at 57 or 58. And like you said, that's really funny. How can you have a disappointing 60, right? But it kind of was. I mean, everybody was watching. I was texting with about 3 or 4 guys during this thing, and we're all watching and paying attention. It was really, really great. And I got to see a little bit of Scheffler's 59. So I got to see a lot of golf actually on Friday, and it was exciting stuff to have Scheffler post a 59, and then DJ followed up with what he was doing. It was just phenomenal stuff. So one of the easiest 60s you will ever see in your life, that is for sure. One of the more funny things that happened was that Scheffler lost his caddy. He had to fill in with a fill-in caddy on Sunday, as caddy jumped up to see where the ball was going on the 9th hole, came down, messed up his leg, couldn't go on. And so one of the assistant pros from the clubhouse had to come out and carry the bag for Scheffler on the back 9 on Sunday. Hard to follow up. You know, Scheffler played well, really hard to follow up a 59 with a good round next day, but he did okay. He hung in there. You know, for coming off the Corn Ferry Tour last year, he's having a really great year. He's really, really doing well. He's going to be a guy I think we're going to want to watch going forward, Carlos. For Brooks Koepka, he had to withdraw. The 2020 nightmare finally comes to an end. This is exactly what we talked about a couple weeks ago, right? He just needs to get healthy now for these majors coming up. You know, we're just a month away from the U.S. Open, September 17th. And we still got the Masters later this year. So Koepka needs to get himself healthy to play in those things. And I think he did the right thing. Just withdraw. He's not playing good. It's bothering him. Just get healthy. Harris English, you know, we can't, you know, he would have won any other tournament probably. He would have won any other week, right? 19 under par. You know, and you got to go away on Sunday night and go, hey, I shot 19 under par. I played pretty good. I only lost by 11. Unbelievable, right? So, you know, it just happens. I don't know. Did you notice, Carlos, that the top 8 finishers were all inside the top 30 in the FedEx Cup, except for Kisner, and he was number 40, but moved up 23 spots with his T4 finish. You know, the cream rises to the top in these big events, and that's what we're seeing. These guys have enough events now and over the last 2 months that they're ready to go, and they're at the top of their game. Oh, by the way, Tiger was in the field. Nobody was talking about that. You didn't even see him on TV hardly. That was what was amazing to me. Good rounds on Thursday and Sunday, 68, 66, but Friday and Saturday, not so much, 71, 73. Maybe you can build on that solid Sunday round, get into contention this week in Chicago. Tiger is at 57, is going to need a top 15 finish probably to move into the playoffs to stay alive to get in that top 30, maybe even a little bit higher than that. I'm not sure. I didn't do all the mathematical calculations. I'm just making a guess there. Rory, 69, you know, the roller coaster, a couple rounds of 70, 69, 70. The roller coaster continues for Rory this season. He just can't seem to sustain low scores through 4 rounds. He admits the lack of fans has an effect, but he should be over that by now. That should be an old issue. He dropped from number 8 to 12 in the FedEx Cup standings, heading to the BMW. Not too late. He's still in great shape. If he has a good finish in the BMW, it'll all come down to the Tour Championship. He could still win this thing back to back for sure. Justin Thomas, 68, 67, first 2 rounds, good shape. But the weekend, not so kind. Pair of 71s moved him down to a T49, left him at number 2 in the FedEx Cup standings. Of course, DJ jumps to the top of that. Webb Simpson is number 3. He finished at T6 this week. John Rahm moved from 9 to 10. He played okay, nothing great. Who was outside the top 70 and moved up? Well, Russell Henley was the biggest mover. He moved up 40 spots with a T8 finish. He went from 101 to 61. I mean, that's way outside. That was a big move. Alex Noren went from 78 to 47. Harry Higgs just crept in. He was a 72, got to 48. Robbie Shelton, Jason Kokrak, Charlie Hoffman, Louis Oosthuizen. Oosthuizen was 99, right? He grabbed the last spot at number 70, so he moved up 29 spots. That's pretty good for him. Who fell out of the top 70? Well, Justin Rose. You know, he was at 109. He just, you know, no way he was going to get in. Didn't have that great week. Tommy Fleetwood did not get into the top 70. Ricky, nope, he's gone. Spieth missed a cut. He's out. Phil missed a cut. 67-75. He's done. Henrik Norlander missed a cut. Sonny Kang, Doc Redman. Well, Kang went from 61 down to 72, so he fell a lot. Doc Redman went from 70 to 71, so he was the first guy out. That had to hurt. Xinjiang Zhang went from 70 to 78, and Denny McCarthy went from 65 to 73. So some guys moved up, some guys fell down. Patrick Rogers made the cut, but did not play well on the weekend. 76-77 on Saturday and Sunday. Finished last of those who made the cut. His back must be bothering him again. You know, he might have a tough time here the rest of the time unless he can have a miracle cure. We've got, I guess, Carlos, that's about all I've got. I mean, it was a really good week. A lot of low scores. I've never really been a big fan of TPC Boston. I always thought it was kind of a tricked up golf course. But boy, Dustin Johnson had it going on. Harris English had a really good week. Scotty Scheffler shoots a 59. A lot of positive stuff coming out of there. It was kind of fun tournament to watch, Carlos.
Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, we're seeing some of the top players struggling, like the big names. Let's put it that way. Tiger Woods. I just think he's just trying to get some reps in. I don't think he's in here to go and win the FedEx Cup. He's just, let me see how far I can get. Let me see if I can make all four this next week at the BMW. I don't see him winning. I just see that he wants to get those repetitions that he hasn't been able to get and get in tournament shape for the majors. That's what I think he's doing. Phil Mickelson, he hasn't been in good shape all year long anyways. I think for him, we are going to talk about him playing now in the Champions Tour, something we thought was not going to happen. But I think he might be looking at the same thing. This has been a very weird year. We know everything is different. Players have not been able to maintain the routines that they always have. I mean, you see some players, like even I was surprised to see Bryson and Colin miss the cut. If two players have been hot coming into this tournament, were those two, and they didn't even make it. So what happened to them, I don't know, because this was a course that I thought Bryson was going to be really doing great, and he didn't. I mean, he missed the cut there. We saw also players like Shane Lowry, another player who needed to have a good showing to get into the top 70, also missed the cut. Didn't do it. A consistent player that also surprised me that missed the cut, Sungjae Im. He's been playing really, really well all year. This was a really weird tournament for some of the players. Fred, I don't know. It's just kind of what we're seeing going on all year. It's just up and down. And for Jordan, definitely, I mean, his nightmare continues. He hasn't been the same. I guess this could be a blessing in disguise. Just take some time off and rethink, regroup, and hopefully, he'll be there in the majors. And next year is what he has to think about, not this year.
You talk about Bryson, good point. He could be getting tired. He has played a lot this year, and he's played a lot of really high-quality golf. Seems like he's in contention almost every week. So he could be getting tired. He could be a little bit down. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bounce back in Chicago and have a really good week out there. You mentioned Jordan Spieth. This is a nightmare for him right now. It's not really a slump. I wouldn't call it a slump. It's just it's all about his driving. His driving is so bad, it's affecting the rest of his game. The rest of his game is okay. He's still a great iron player. He's still a has a dynamite short game. He's still a really good putter, but the driver is just putting him in so much trouble. I think he's just trying to keep up with these long bombers, and it's just he's out of time. He's jerking from the top and all kinds of stuff. He's got to get back to a rhythm. I think really, to be quite honest with you, I really think it's a timing thing with him. I think he needs to put a metronome down and get his rhythm, because his swing varies so much. If you watch him on the tee, watch his timing. He will jerk and jump around, and that's not good for trying to hit fairways. He's got to get this driving figured out. That's the only thing that's killing, because he's really good with everything else. So he'll figure it out. I know they'll figure it out. But it's really hard to watch him right now, because he's a much better player and he's been playing for the last year.
I agree. And with him, I like what you say. I hope it's the timing thing, because I've always believed that it's more of a mental thing for him. He's been trying so hard and so many things. And you mentioned one very good thing. This all started when he started to tinker with his swing for driving to try to get more distance. It reminds me.
Lydia Ko come to mind?
Or Luke Donald. I remember Luke Donald was number one, and he said, well, I have to change my swing because I need to hit it farther. Big mistake. He's never been the same. So I don't know. I hope he does. I mean, he has such a bright future if he would come back to be what he was before, because he's so fun to watch, and he's such a great competitor, and would make a great matchup there with Justin Thomas and DJ right now and all the top players. But hopefully he does. But anyway, we're going to be talking about the top 70 now pretty soon in the forecall. But overall, this was DJ's week. And again, I would like to know what was it that he found out on Wednesday. Because he said, I found something. Stick to it, man. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about anything else. So anyway, anything else you want to add about this tournament?
No, let's get to the ladies. I can't wait to talk about the Women's Open.
All right, let's talk about Sophia Popov.
Sophia Popov, yes.
Yes, she won her first major title at the IG Women's Open at Royal Troon to become Germany's first female major champion. Now, she's a 27-year-old. She finished at 7 under par to beat Jasmine Suwanapura by 2 strokes and claimed a $675,000 first place check. These two had a great battle on that final day, but it was at the end Sophia who came out on top after 68 with a 3 under, featuring 5 birdies. Australia's Min Jae Lee was in third at 3 under. Inbay Park was solo fourth at 1 under. Everybody else was just behind, going over par. But it was Sophia Popov, and when you see her afterwards, she broke down into tears after her victory. And it really makes you feel what she said, because she revealed that she almost quit the game last year. She only qualified to this event 2 weeks ago at the Marathon Classic after she caddied for her friend Anne Van Dam. She had nothing to lose here. She had everything to win, and it showed. And I mean, this is one of those feel-good stories, Fred, and it shows you that any given Sunday, right? It's not only in football. It's anywhere that you have a finishing Sunday. If you're playing well, you can beat anybody.
Carlos, this is exactly what we love about sports, right? You just never know. Here's a 27-year-old lady who's done really nothing. She's won $108,000 in her career since she left USC. She was All-American there. She played on USC when they won the national championship. She was on the team. Very, very good collegiate player, right? She's over 300. She's outside 300 in ranking in the world. She's not supposed to take on Min Jae Lee and Jasmine Suwanapura and all these other top names. She's not even supposed to be here. So you mentioned the caddy. Let's go on back before that, okay? Let's go back before during the quarantine. She's playing on the Cactus Tour. You know, we reported on the Cactus Tour, right? It was the only thing going back there in March and April, so we were talking about that. She won 3 times in 9 events. That had to give her some confidence, right? let's go back before that. She said during her interview with the press after her win that she struggled for 3 years, going to doctors, not knowing what was going on. I think she went to 20 some doctors or something like this. She had Lyme disease. She lost 20 some pounds. She's a stick anyhow. She couldn't figure out. She had no strength. She couldn't do anything, couldn't practice, ran out of gas trying to play. And finally, they realized that she had Lyme disease. So now she watches her diet, she exercises, she has to do all these things to make sure she keeps that under control. And obviously, she's a very good player because look what she does. So now you're up to date. She wins on the Cactus Tour. She goes and caddies. There's no Symetra Tour event going on. So she goes and caddies for Annie Van Dam at Inverness. And she sees something. She watches Annie Van Dam. She learns something about her game watching her play Inverness. While she's caddying, she learns there's a couple spots open in the Marathon Classic. She had not signed up for that. She's in Toledo. She finds out there's some spots open that Symetra Tour players can get in. She's at the top level of a qualification on Symetra. She said, well, I can get in. So she signs up quick. They let her in. She finishes T9. She is top 10, which puts her into the Women's Open in Scotland. And she could have played in this ladies Scottish. But instead of going and getting on a plane in Detroit and flying over, she goes back to Phoenix to play back on the Symetra Tour because she wants to make sure she stays in that top 10 so she can see about getting back onto the LPGA Tour. Well, she finishes runner-up to actually a girl from here in Michigan, Sarah White, who is an excellent player. But she finishes runner-up in Arizona, jumps on a plane, flies across the pond to Scotland, gets in one practice round, right, on Troon, goes out. Let me get this right here. She goes out, and I think she's runner-up the first day. She's a couple under par, 1 under par, I think, and she's runner-up after the first round. And so she comes out the second day, has another pretty good round, and she's looking pretty good. And lo and behold, she lights it up on Saturday. She ends up with like a 3-shot lead. So somebody that's over 300 in the world, playing in their first major, a Symetra Tour player playing with LPGA Tour players, the best in the world, they're supposed to fold like a chair, right, on Sunday. It's not going to happen. No way she's going to win. She came out swinging for the fences. I thought it was so fun to watch, Carlos. I watched pretty much the whole back 9. She did not take her foot off the pedal. She was taking full swing. She was just going for everything. And it was all working out for her. She got a couple breaks. She absolutely did. But she wasn't backing off, man. She was going for it. And I am so happy for her. I thought it was such a wonderful win. And Carlos, like we said at the top, this is exactly why we love sports and golf in particular, because the Cinderella story, right? They can come from nowhere, win the big deal. She'd won $108,000 in her career. She won $650,000 for this win. Now she's on the LPGA Tour. She's exempt. She's good through 2021. This is life-changing for her, Carl. This is gigantic. You're on mute, Carlos.
Yeah, definitely. This is life-changing for her. Now everybody will know who Sophia Popov is. I just hope it doesn't happen like last year when we saw the first-time winner from Sweden win the major and just doesn't come back and do anything. At least she got her 15 minutes of fame right now, right? Or 15 seconds. I don't know what it is.
One thing I can't figure out, though, her LPGA membership doesn't start until Portland, which is the week after the ANA. So she's not in the ANA. How can you be a major champion, win a major champion, and not be in the ANA, the next major championship? I don't get that. I need to ask somebody about that because I don't understand it. And Carlos, one other thing I wanted to mention, I forgot. was that the RNA mentioned that Muirfield is added to the rota for the Women's Open. I don't know if you saw that or not. And this is really funny to me, Carlos. This is hilarious because Muirfield, right, was like the last holdout of not letting women in as members, right? And they just let them in 2019, last year, so that they wouldn't lose their place in the Open Championship. They wanted the men there. Well, they're going to get the women in 2022. I think that's absolutely hilarious. I don't know if you saw that or not, but that's really funny.
No, I haven't. I had not seen it, but it's really interesting, and I think that's what they were waiting for. I mean, that's what they had to do it, otherwise they wouldn't get that opportunity. But going back to Sophia, I mean, this is her time now. Hopefully, and if you were mentioning something about she not taking her foot off the pedal at the back nine, you're saying that she caught some things from Annie Van Dam. One of the things that Annie Van Dam does is that she goes for it. She's not afraid. She has this big, long game, and she definitely all the time is going for it. So if there is something I think that she might have gotten from it, it is that. So it's one of those players to watch for. The disappointments, I mean, Daniel Kang, of course, was the one that everybody was watching and looking at. She teased us the week before, finally uh, looking good on the links. She didn't do it until the last one when she went for that 67, but she was just too far away. T32 finishing there. So at least she won't have to face any link scores for the rest of the year. So that's a good thing for her. Missing the cut, Brooks Henderson missed the cut there. So that's one player we haven't been talking about much. Lexi Thompson expected to play well, also missed the cut. Stacy Lewis coming from that win and playing before. She if there's a good links styles course player is Stacy Lewis, previous winner of this tournament. She didn't cut. She didn't make the cut either. Charlie Hall was out too. So there were some big names missing the cut here. But again, it's you gotta draw a line at some point. You got to give them some some mulligans to them because this has not been a season nowhere for anyone to have any kind of continuity. And what we're seeing is just players struggling right now and trying to get back in shape and play. But at least for now, I can tell you, this has been the biggest story. Sophia Popov, she did it well, and she beat some very good players. I mean, with more experience like Jasmine Min Jae Lee, Inbee Park, another major winner. She was playing well as well. So hey, congratulations to her, and may not be this one the only one that she wins. So hopefully we can see more in the future. Now, let's move on to the European Tour, where Romain Langasque waited for the best time to shoot a week's best round of a stunning 65 to win his maiden European Tour title at the Wales Open. He carded 6 birdies in his flawless bogey-free round to come from 5 strokes back and lift his first title on the main tour. He picked up a 2-stroke win over Sami Välimäki on 8 under in difficult scoring conditions there. Englishmen David Dixon and Matthew Jordan finishing the tie for 3rd place. Overnight leaders Connor Syme and Sebastian Soderberg, they both faltered there with rounds of 75 and 74, respectively. Langasque earned his first win on the European Tour following on from his first Challenge Tour title in September of 2018. So, Fred, he's an amateur championship winner from 2015, also qualifies for the U.S. Open next month at Winged Foot. Sam Horsfield, he joins Sam Horsfield, Thomas Dietrich, Andy Sullivan, Rasmus Hoshgard, Renato Paratore, Sami Välimäki, Adrian Otaegi, Connor Syme, and Justin Harding as the ones that qualify for the U.S. Open through the UK Swing Mini Order of Merit. And by the way, Langasque won this tournament with his new set of tailor-made P7MC irons in the back. So usually you change the new set of irons and you take a little while to break them in. But hey, he made the best out of it. I mean, coming from five behind to win in that final round, I mean, it was really sweet. So congratulations for him on his maiden win.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed in you, Carlos. You hadn't been saying that this was a guy we should be watching, a young guy. He's only 25, from France. He's had 78 career starts on the European Tour, made 48 cuts, earned 1.9 million euro, but this was his first win. He has made every cut in the UK swing this year, but his highest finish was only a T26 at the English Championship. You may not remember, you did mention that he won the 2015 Amateur Championship in the UK, and he qualified for the 2015 Masters, shot a 31 on the back nine in the final round to tie for the lowest nine-hole scorer by an amateur at Augusta National. He played the Challenge Tour in 2016, had a strong year, moved up the European Tour, didn't work for him. He ended up back on the Challenge Tour in 2018. Now he's back on the regular tour, and it looks like he's here to stay. Got a win to his name now, Carlos. The future looks bright for him. He's a young guy.
It's definitely it, and that's one of these young guys making the best out of this no big names European tour swing right now. So hey, kudos to him. A win is a win no matter where. And we were talking about it. I mean, when we were covering the Cactus Tour and this mini tours, like you mentioned, that Sophia was playing, it's paying off. Do you see how these players now? It's maybe not now, but in the future, when they gain that confidence and start playing better, maybe that's just the switch that they needed. Okay, learning to win anywhere, it will take you to a level of confidence that it'll show anywhere that you go. So we'll definitely be watching Roman. He's definitely talented and another player to watch from the European Tour. When he comes up to the U.S. Open, let's see how he does. Now, Shane Birch, he won his first PGA Tour Champions title in a playoff at Big Cedar Lodge Buffalo Ridge Golf Course in Richdale, Missouri. Now, he made an Eagle 3 on the first playoff hole against Bernhard Langer, Glendale, and Kenny Perry. I mean, he did it against two players at least there that are top of the class, and it would have been, anyone wouldn't have faltered him for folding against any of those two. But hey, he played really well. He made that eagle. All four players had finished the 54-hole event at 13 under. Tom Byram and Vijay Singh finished tied for fifth place, just a shot out of the playoff. So Birch won the $450,000 winner's share of the $3 million purse. And Fred, by the way, Birch wins his first PGA Tour Champions title in only his second start on the circuit. Wow. I mean, that do we have a star in the making?
He ain't going to win this week, though. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Kenny Perry let this one get away. This was Kenny's to win. Birch kind of came in the back door there a little bit. Kenny had a one-shot lead going into the last hole, par 5. Hit an errant drive over in the weeds a little bit, makes bogey at the last hole, ends up in a playoff with Bernhard Day and Shane Birch. And Birch hit the lottery when he rolls in that long putt for eagle. It's his day. What are you going to do? When it's your day, it's your day. Birch did start the day with a 4-shot lead, kind of pissed it away, but that's what you expect from someone. He only got on he's just 50. He just got on the Champions Tour by winning the qualifying tour tournament to get on. And like you say, he's just getting his career started. That's going to change now. He's got to win. He's going to get more invites. He'll get into more, as we've documented many times, the Champions Tour is the hardest tour in the world to get onto, right? But you get on early, and when you're 50 and you win like that, it really opens the doors. He should be good for the next 2 or 3 years. If he could throw in some more high finishes, finish well up in the Charles Schwab Cup, sky's the limit for this guy going forward. Let's see what else we've got. No, I don't have. Said he's really struggled for a couple of years. Didn't have much status the last couple of years, and even took a job last summer in Denver. But this is an opportunity, and he made the most of it. So good for him, Carlos.
Finally, congratulations on his maiden win, second time out, and he's the winner. Hey, more power to him. The 2020 Nationwide Children's Hospital Championship final leaderboard was headed by winner Curtis Locke, who broke through for a big win at the Scarlet Course at
Where they
the
where
Ohio State. Am I saying it
where
right?
they at? It seems like
The Ohio State University
it
Golf
seems
Club
like
in
there's been professional
Columbus.
golf in Ohio for like 2 months. It's amazing. Every week there's another tournament going on someplace.
Man, it's see, and why are you moving away from it?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question.
That's for another show. Well,
Exactly.
people will have fans will have a
Exactly.
full show for that. But anyway, the Australian picked up the one-shot win on 11 under, making the putt on the final hole to avoid the playoff with Theo Humphrey, Taylor Montgomery, and Cameron Young. Stephen Jaeger, who won last week in Idaho, was part of a five-way tie for fifth on 9 under with Scott Gutschewski, Will Salatoris, Jimmy Stringer, and Nick Hardy. By the way, he won. By the way, Fred, he won. Locke won $180,000, which is the winner's share of the $1 million purse, and puts him in a good start for next year for that 25 search.
Yeah, we've been talking about Curtis Luck. He's been one of those young guys that we just felt was going to be a great player. Everybody had him ranked high, and some guys it just takes a little bit longer. It looks like maybe he's figuring it out. I'm telling you what, there are a few courses around, but Scarlet is one of them. If Muirfield Village is another. If you can win at Muirfield Village, you can win a major championship. You can win anywhere. Just ask Colin Morikawa. Ask a bunch of other guys that have won at Muirfield. If you can win at Scarlet, you can win anywhere. It's an Alistair Mackenzie golf course with Jack Nicklaus renovation in 2007. It's an excellent, excellent, excellent golf course. If you can win there, you can win anywhere. Curtis Luck played really well. Got to watch some of that over the weekend. It's always fun to watch a course that you know really well and where they hit it and the shots they've got. You know what putts are going to do. I really enjoyed watching it. Also, want to mention that Camilo Villegas, it was his first start back after the death of his daughter. He said he was really glad to be back out playing. Everybody had been really good to him, but it was really good to get his mind away and free up and just get back concentrating on golf. So, that got to be tough for him. We feel for him. Nothing could be worse than what he's gone through the last year and a half. And so, no, good win for Curtis Luck. A couple guys took a run at him, but he hung steady all the way through there.
Most definitely. And with that, we wrap up our weekend backspin. And now we're going to tell you what's going to happen this week. And we have to start talking about the second event of the FedEx Cup playoffs, which begins this week with the BMW Championship played at the Olympia Fields. That's just going to be just outside of Chicago. The top 70 in the rankings play this week before the top 30 make it to the Tour Championship next week. Now, this is the second of three events in the Tour's season-ending FedEx Cup playoffs, and Olympia Fields will be just a one-and-done host. And it's going to be welcoming the PGA Tour players for the first time since 2003. I mean, this is very much a classic era course with relatively small targets. Keeping the ball in play goes in a long way in keeping a player in touch with the leaderboard. So in this second of three events, Dustin Johnson sits atop of the FedEx Cup standings. We just talked about his amazing 11-shot victory at the Northern Trust. Justin Thomas sits in second, 92 points behind DJ, followed by Webb Simpson, Daniel Berger, and Colin Morikawa. The top 30 in the standings after this week will advance to the Tour Championship at Atlanta's East Lake Golf Club for the finale. This field, it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to be playing. Like I mentioned, this is not a course that sets up for anybody that's making mistakes. So the way that Dustin was playing, wow! If he keeps playing like that, like I said, he's going to be the man to beat the rest of the way. So, how about this tournament, Fred? And what do you expect from
it? Dustin Johnson, kind of an interesting study there. He hasn't won a FedEx Cup. He's pretty much won everything else. I mean, he's only won one major. He needs to win 2 or 3 more majors to really have to put him up in there, that elite status, like with the Phil Mickelson of the world and the Nick Faldos and some of these people. And he's been a good player for a long time. He's won a tournament every year for like 12 years or something like that. Fantastic stuff. 22 wins. You can't even have lifetime membership yet. Even though he's over 20 wins, he can't have lifetime membership because he's not old enough. So that means he's got a long career yet to go. He's got a long time to win. I'm really curious to see how he does this week. Dustin can have these really good rounds, and then you don't see him for a couple weeks or something. So I don't think this is his kind of course necessarily, although he's such a good wedge player. If he will hit that iron off the tee and maybe not the driver all the time, and just use his wedges and putting, he maybe will do real well. I don't know. The top 10, it's hard to look past them. You mentioned the top 5. Let's finish that out. You got Harris English moves up to number 6. Bryson DeChambeau still in the top 10. Sung J M, John Rahm, and Patrick Reed. All those guys have been playing really well since golf came back in June, and it's hard to bet against any of those guys. Carlos, I'm gonna stick with my guy. Colin Morikawa did not have a good week last week. But this is the kind of golf course that I think he might do okay on. This is about control this week, keeping it in play, and I'm still sticking with him. I like Morikawa to be there when it all comes down on Sunday, not this week, but even next week. Who are the guys to watch outside the top 30 who can move up? Well, how about Matt Wolff at number 33, Adam Scott at 38? Tiger Woods, that Tiger Woods guy, he's at 57, so he's got some work to do this week. And Jason Day's at 50, so he needs to have a couple pretty good days to have a good finish to move up as well. So, Carlos, Olympia Fields, we don't get to see it very often in Chicago. This is kind of like a major. All the big guys are there. It's kind of fun to watch. Can't wait to see some of it.
Definitely, and that is something that this pandemic, if something has been positive, is that we have been seeing tournaments being moved to different venues that usually we wouldn't have been seeing for a little while or for a long while, and that is the case of the European Tour, because the final event of the, I gotta call it, to me, it's a fantastic UK swing. It was a great idea. It's been entertaining in the European Tour, and of course, no big names, but they have been playing their hearts out, and they're playing really, really well. It's gonna happen this week with the UK Championship. They're gonna be playing at the Belfry. Last time an event was played at this historic venue was the 2008 British Masters, when Gonzalo Fernandez Castaño beat Lee Westwood in a playoff. Okay, the Belfry is thought of really as a Ryder Cup venue, not as an European Tour stop. So we don't have a lot of intel on how it will play with a more player-friendly setup. There's going to be players here that you have to look out. Rasmus Højgaard, I've been saying he's been playing well. That's the young guy to look for. Matt Wallace, they've been playing really well. Haotong Lee, Matthias Schwab, Lee Westwood, and Andy Sullivan are other two top players there. Thomas Dietrich's been playing well. So again, this is the last chance for whoever's not made it to the U.S. Open to make it from the European Tour, Fred.
So you say it's a Ryder Cup course. That tells me it's a good match play course. That tells me there's a lot of risk and reward. And if I remember, I hate the Belfry. I remember 3 Ryder Cup losses there. I saw some of the worst golf from U.S. players I've ever seen in my life. Mark Calcavecchia comes to mind on number 18, where there seems to be a big pond there, that all he had to do was keep it out of the water, and of course hits it in the water, loses match, we lose the Ryder Cup. There's also a couple par 4s there that are drivable, right? They're like long par 3s, but if you miss a green, there's a lot of junk. So you can make eagle or birdie, but you can also make 7 or even 8, because you can lose some golf balls in some of that stuff. It's pretty nasty. So I don't really like this golf course. I will try maybe catch a little bit of this event, but it's a really, really tricky golf course. It's kind of tricked up a little bit. And this is really a big resort, the Belfry Resort. It's outside of Sutton Coldfield, England, which is right in the middle between London and Liverpool. So it's kind of right in the middle of England. There's 3 golf courses there. It's also the headquarters of the Professional Golfers Association. So You know, 4 Ryder Cups, 85, 89, 93, and 2002, 3 of which Europe won. It was, and it boggles the mind today. When they say Belfry to me, I just conjure up, it's all bad. It's all bad, Carlos. So I hope they have a good time this week, and you know, we'll probably try to catch some of it.
You shouldn't worry. That's why I say I don't know if they're going to change the setup because all we've seen is Ryder Cup setups. Now you have to be more player friendly when you're going for a tournament, so you might be seeing something different. And don't worry about it. There's not Americans playing for the Ryder Cup there. We don't have to worry about it. It's all
I
Europeans.
never want the Ryder Cup going back there. Never, never, never. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll let it.
I don't think it will. But anyway, now that you said it, maybe we'll start listening. Hey, the Belfry. That's the one we're going to play in.
No.
Hey, normally, and I'm leaving Phil for the end. We're going to talk about the LPGA after. I want to talk about Phil later. Normally, the Tour Championship would be the conclusion of the Corn Ferry Tour season. With Crown 25 new PGA Tour members and turn our attention and how they set up for the fall swing. Because that's what usually would happen at this time. Things obviously have changed with this golf season, but there's still plenty to play for this week with berths into the U.S. Open and a few PGA Tour events on the line. So they're going to be playing at the Victoria National Golf Course, which will play host to the event. That's just slightly over 7,200 yards for par 72. This course has been a regular stop on the tour since 2012, and prior to the last season was one of the more difficult to score on. However, Tom Lewis came along last season and he fired 23 under par. Before that, the lowest score had been 12 under by Seamus Power in 2016. So it's not overly long. So with challenging rough and water play in 12 holes, I lean more towards precision players this week. So we'll see what happens, Fred. What's your take on the Tour Championship, which is not the Tour Championship, but at least it's the end of
Well,
the
this is the
season.
9th year that they've hosted the Corn Ferry Tours Championship here at Victoria National, and it's a tough golf course. If you remember when the first year they went there, we talked about this golf course, and it was it's really tough. I think the wind was blowing that first year. They were knocking in water. There's water all over the place. The scores are really high. It was a really hard golf course, and it still is today. They're not going to be issuing any new PGA Tour cards this week. Normally they give away 25 cards. There were 25 given away at the end of the regular season, 25 at the end of this three tournament championship series, but no, not this year. Everything's going to kind of be held the same. They are going to the top, what is it, the top 5? No, the top 10 on the Corn Ferry Tour points list will earn spots in the opposite field events next year. They are going to do that. And the top 5 from these 3 tournaments in the points list are going to earn spots in the U.S. Open at Wingfoot next month. So there is something to play for here. They're playing for something, just not the 25 cards that they normally would do. So a couple names, Carlos. We've been talking to this guy all summer. Will Zalatoris, got to watch for him. He's having a great year. He's still number 1 on the Corn Ferry Tour list. Stephen Yeager's been playing very well. Nick Hardy, Cameron Young, one of the hottest guys on the KFT right now, made it into the Pinnacle Bank Championship early in the month via a Monday qualifier, and here's his finishes since he got on a Monday qualifier: T11, T14, T6, and T2. He's trending up, Carlos, trending up. Watch this guy. And why not Curtis Luck? As I said, if he can win at Scarlet, he can win anywhere. He's got some confidence now. Why not watch for him, Carlos?
Definitely, those are players to watch, and it's going to be interesting because they're still looking for U.S. Open spots in some other tournaments. Because what they are going to win here is not the tour cards, but they're going to be playing for some spots in some PGA Tour tournaments next season. Now, let's talk about the ladies and the Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship. They're going to be playing at the Pinnacle Country Club, which is celebrating its 30th birthday this year and has hosted this championship since its inception in 2007. I mean, this original course was created by Don Seacrest in consultation with Bruce Liskey before it was redesigned by Randy Heckkemper in 2008. So again, the players that are coming straight from Scotland, the ones that were there, that are going to be here, but players to watch, I still have to say, hey, Danielle Kang, unquestionably one of the most informed players on the planet right now. Two victories and two further top five finishes in her last five starts. She wasn't overly impressive in South Ayrshire last week, but hey, prior to that, she had recorded five consecutive top 12s. So watch out for her. And the other player that I'm looking forward to see here, and I mentioned that she was going to do really well at the AIG Open is in Bay Park. She made an excellent return to tournament golf last week. She picked up things where she left. That's what I mentioned. She had this time to just resync and re-energize, and she took things where there was. She hadn't competed on tour since winning the Women's Australian Open back in February due to the coronavirus. But despite some early rust, she opened with 6 over 6 to 77. Tough conditions there on that Trunda day, but she hardly missed a beat, storming home with the equal best final round. So watch out for her. Um, uh, just so Fred, there's going to be this is always a very nice tournament, not a big name tournament, but a very big, a very nice tournament where good field players get in there to play.
Yeah, well, Stacey Lewis being out of the University of Arkansas, she's always a fan favorite there for sure. She didn't play that well at the Women's Open over in Scotland, so I imagine she'll be wanting to atone herself, get back up in the leaderboard here. No rest for the ladies this week. They fly right from Scotland back to Arkansas for the Walmart Northwest Arkansas Championship. $2.3 million purse. That's not too snotty. Sun Young Park, I think she's still at home in Korea, is not going to be there to defend her title. So the field's wide open. Should be some good golf. Also want to mention, Carlos, before I turn it back to you, the Symetra Tour is back on this week. They're having their fifth stop of the year at Blackthorn Golf Club in South Bend, Indiana for the Four Winds Invitational this weekend. 132 players vying for a $150,000 purse, 54-hole stroke play, cut to low 60 and ties after 36 holes. Winner share is 22.5. Carlos, back to you.
And now the time is here because we're going to talk about the Charles Schwab Series at Ozarks National, and I truly was not expecting this to happen so fast. I mean, we were saying, oh, when will Phil Mickelson will be playing on the PGA Tour Champions? He should be playing there. I'm not going to say, I'm going to leave that to you, the scores right now, how they are. I'm just going to say that he's making his first start on the over 50 circuit this week after being eliminated by the FedEx from the FedEx Cup playoffs. Would that be a coincidence or what? I don't know. But anyway, he's making his first start on the PGA Tour Champions. So he turned back 50 in June. And, he's a five-time major winner. He tees it up at Big Cedar Lodge in Missouri. The event takes place from yesterday to tomorrow. So they have played already 2 rounds, which I'm going to let you talk about. He's going to be looking to emulate Jim Furyk, who recently won in his PGA Tour Champions debut. I think he's doing pretty well. But anyway, he'll likely continue playing mainly in the PGA Tour. That's having said earlier this year that while he's still hitting bombs, quote, his priority is the main tour. He's still hitting bombs here and there, having averaged over 300 yards off the tee for the season. So, Fred, how about Phil Mickelson making his debut following his missed cut at the Northern Trust? Means he finished in the 75th FedEx Cup to miss out on the BMW Championship. He announced on social media his intentions to play following the missed cut at TPC Boston. So, I mean, his best result of the year came just a few weeks ago at the FedEx St. Jude Invitational GWC, WGC. He finished T2nd, so it looked like, hey, he was gonna be making it well into the FedEx Cup, but it didn't turn out that well.
Well, Phil, I mean, it's up one week, down the next week, right? It's feast or famine. There's nothing really in between with this guy. Uh, this tournament, the Ozarks National Big Cedar Lake. First of all, I love this golf course, right? I love this golf course, and great place. I talked about that last week, but this gets a big ratings boost this week. There's probably more people watching Champions Tour this week than ever. I forgot to mention that CBS sent a thing out today. They saw the biggest ratings for their coverages this year. So they're done now until later in the year, right? NBC's picking everything up now. And they saw the biggest ratings bump in golf coverage that they have seen for like ever. So everybody's at home, they're looking for stuff, and everybody's watching golf. But this tournament gets a big ratings boost because Philly Mick is there. He bounced out of the FedEx Cup playoffs, so boom, he signs up quick, flies down to Branson, and says, "Hey, let me tee it up here. I'm ready to go." Also, lost in all the shuffle, Rich Beam is making his Champions Tour debut as well. Rich who? Where'd he come from? But everybody's talking about Phil, and rightly so. First round, he just goes out and shoots a smooth little 60. Not a bad little round, right? I'm sorry, 61, I think. 10 under. Yeah, it was 10 under, 61. Not bad for his first time out on the Champions Tour. Follows that up today with a 7 under par 64. So he goes 61, 64. It's got like a 3 or 4 shot lead over a couple guys, Petrovic and Roger Pampling. He's looking really good. I'm going to go on a limb here, Carlos. I'm going to say that Phil's probably going to win this thing tomorrow unless he breaks his leg or something, trips over something. I don't know. He looked really good yesterday. He hits the ball so much farther than everybody else. He's just hitting little flip wedges into these greens. And, of course, they've got these courses shortened up. He's playing courses on the regular tour that are, 72, 73, 7,400 yards. He comes down here, they're playing 6,800. That's like a pitch and putt for him. So he's got all these little wedges he's throwing in there, and he was making putts like crazy. I got to tell you, Ozark National is not nearly as easy as he made it look yesterday. It's a wonderful golf course. Yet probably not. The Champions Tour, maybe a U.S. Junior or a U.S. GA Amateur or something like that, a ladies amateur, maybe the women's senior. It would be a good course for that. Probably you're never going to want to put the real regular tour on here because they're going to shoot like, Phil's going to end up with probably about 24 under in 3 rounds when he gets done tomorrow. That's amazing. So you can just see he's so much better than everybody else. And this got a good field, right? You got Stricker, you got Ernie Els, you got Retief Goosen, you got a bunch of guys in this thing that can really play. So this is a really good Champions Tour field, and Phil's just having for lunch.
Oh, he's toying with them. That's what he's doing there. I don't know if you saw this, but it wasn't nearly. Of course, it wasn't nearly a stage that compares to the final round of the Masters in the theater that is Augusta National. Not when it's a Tuesday round on the PGA Tour Champions, but like his famous shot on the 13th on Sunday en route to his 2010 Masters victory. He pulled off today another magical forest escape on the second round.
See it. No.
Okay, it was made all the better because he's coming off. You mentioned it. His opening round of 61. He got a bizarre rules break, and he used his driver. Yes, his driver off pine needles to eventually make birdie as he looked to extend his lead. Like you mentioned, he went 7 under, but it was incredible. I mean, he hit his drive at the par 5 9th under a large tree. Only Phil will do this. His ball settled up against some roots there in the tree. He's a left-hander, so he had almost no ability to take the swing there. But he discovered that a wire was hanging out of the tree. Yep, he used the old loose lightning round wire defense. The wire, which should have been fully attached to the tree, it wasn't, it was loose, happened to interfere with any swing that he would try. And he said, and I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna get hurt potential if I do this. And that's what he said. You laugh, but that's what he
Wire,
said. He
dangerous
said
wire.
that. Yeah, I might get hurt potentially. So he was pleading his case, and then the rules official look at it. And, yeah, you're right. I really think so. So he could take relief without a penalty. He did, and after analyzing the shot, he said to his caddy, brother Tim, he said, "Hey, give me the driver." They were like, "What?" So with a half swing, he punched the ball out and he came up just short of the bunker, fronting the green right there. From there, he got up and down for birdie. That was his
Wow.
fifth on the front nine.
I'll have to look that up.
No, and of course, Phil's never too far from drama. I mean, on the very next hole, he made a remarkable bogey. That's Phil for you, Fred. That's Phil for you. But that's what he
Yeah.
brings now to the Champions Tour, man. That's just Phil being Phil there. So anyway, with that, we wrap up our four calls. So tell us a little bit about Boyne Resorts.
Are you sitting at home and ruining the fact that summer has passed you by? Your kids are going to be starting back to school. The pandemic has completely messed up your year. Well, do something about it. Plan a quick getaway to Boyne Resort in northern Michigan. Late August, early September, perfect time to visit Boyne. 10 golf courses, hiking, biking, swimming, fishing, 3 spas. There's something for the entire family. Oh, don't forget, they got a water park and a zip line at Boyne Mountain Resort as well. So visit boyne.com/golf to make your reservations now and tell them Back Nine Report sent you.
And with that, we're going to move now to our Par 5 news. And we're going to start talking about, with a fully exempt U.S. Open field this year, amateurs didn't have a chance to play their way into the country's national championship. Still, the amateurs weren't forgotten this year because the USGA announced on Wednesday that 7 amateur players who gained entry into the U.S. Open field, courtesy of their World Amateur Golf Ranking. So they might not, Fred, they might not have had their chance qualifying in the traditional sense, which is first an 18-hole local qualifier, then the 36-hole sectional qualifier. But their body of work in college, junior, and amateur events was still recognized through this exemption category. So good thing for them. Can you tell us a little bit about them and what you think about this?
Yeah, as you know, as you mentioned, you can't have the normal qualifiers this year for the U.S. Open. These guys would have been out there the Monday after the Memorial with golf's longest day with 11 courses across the country trying to qualify for the U.S. Open. And they can't do it this year, so they're picking and choosing certain tournaments or certain groups of tournaments that they're allowing, they're awarding entrance into the U.S. Open. So always part of the deal is that, the amateurs have a chance to get in. The really good amateurs have a chance to get in the U.S. Open. So they have picked the top 7 from the World Amateur Golf Ranking. And those players are Takumi Kaniya of Japan, Ricky Castillo of California, Chun An-yu, Chinese Taipei, Davis Thompson from Georgia, Edmund Roussard of Spain, Sandy Scott of Scotland, and John Pack of New Jersey. So you got guys from all over the world here, right, that are getting into the U.S. Open. So the USGA is trying to do the right thing here, Carlos, of getting the top amateurs in there. I don't know, right or wrong, you can debate this a lot of different ways, but I think it's a good deal. I'm glad they're doing it, and good to see that they got this. As you mentioned earlier, some of the top order of merit guys from the UK of swing are going to get in here. So you've got some guys from the UK that are also getting invited to the U.S. Open. So it's going to be an international field. It is all kind of hand-picked. Also, as I mentioned, they're going to be adding names into the U.S. Open from the Korn Ferry Tour Final Series this week, from the championship. the top three on the from those last three tournaments from the championship series will be invited as well. So they're getting a little bit of everybody, and who knows, maybe we'll have a Sophia Popov pop up and win the U.S. Open like we did over at the Women's Open, Carlos.
Hey, Takumi Kanaya. Remember that name.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Takumi
You're
Kanaya.
supposed to take these. I'm not supposed to be stuck with these. This is
No,
your job.
no, I'm not saying that you said it wrong. I'm just saying, remember Takumi Kanaya. He's the #1 right now in the world amateur. But last year he was there in the Masters. Victor Hovland was the one that finished as the top amateur, but I had taken him as the top amateur that time. He finished second within the amateurs, and I think this is a guy that you have to look for. I mean, he's a 21-year-old. He's making a name for himself, and watch out. This guy has some serious golfing skills. So Takumi Kanaya, that's the one I'm looking forward to see there at the U.S. Open. I said it right now. He's going to be the lowest amateur. That's it. Done.
Carlos Torres picks him. You got to
it.
watch him, guys, because he's never wrong about these young guys. He knows these guys. He knows these things.
Takumi Kanaya, you'll see. Anyway, let's move on now to our next story, and it's about Andy McPhee and John Paramore. They retired. They're two longtime golf officials. Fred, tell us a little bit about that.
Very respected golf officials. They've been on the European Tour for a long, long time. I think we've got Paramore started in, he's done over 60, let's see, Duo have administrated rules of games for over 80 years if you add them up together, right? Andy started 62, he started in 83, and John Paramore started in 76. So long, long time. You see these guys at the majors because they get invited in to do the majors every year is when you really see these guys in the United States. And if you watch much European Tour golf, they're always there. These guys are always at the top of their game doing the rules and watching what's going on. They're highly respected. The players like them. They do a great job. And they're really funny because they don't take a lot of guff from the players either, right? They've been at it long enough. They know the rules inside and out. They know what they're trying to do, and they do a really good job. They've decided to retire together. The BMW PGA Championship at Wentworth Club in October will be their last event. They're going to be done. But Carlos, I don't think they're going to be gone forever because the USGA, the R&A are still going to be asking them what they think about certain rules, how they would interpret it, what they to make sure they have the writing right when they do rules, interpretations, and all those kind of things. If you want to see a really cool interview with them, you can go to YouTube. It's on the European Tour channel on YouTube. Just Google John Paramore, Andy McPhee. It'll come up, and I think it's about 20 minutes long. So you want to have some time when you do it. So when you're at work and you're bored, just pull it up, Carlos. I know you have a lot of time to do that every day. So, two really great rules officials, going to retire, and wish them all the best. They've done a fantastic job for the last 30-some years on the European Tour and across the world, really.
All right. Now, let's talk about some other – we have just deserving stories coming back to back, and now it's about the USGA. See, Fred? They are granting $200,000 in grants to the first 51 chapters across the U.S. are going to benefit from that. So, how about this great gesture from the USGA?
Yeah, we love the USGA, right? We just they're wonderful people. We talk kudos to them all the time. No, this is a good thing. They're getting $100 million a year, but they can afford $200,000. I think that's like you leaving a $5 bill tip for dinner, right? Maybe even less than that. It's like you leaving $1 tip on a $100 dinner. That's about what this is like. I'm not complaining. $200,000 is better than nothing. They're doing a good job. They gave $25,000. They just recently announced $25,000 to the 5 first tee chapters in Ohio. So $5,000 each. That's nice. It was well received. Would have been nice if they gave $100,000, but they gave 5. That was good. So it was all good, and USGA is trying to get back a little bit, and through their different districts and AGA partners throughout the country. They're awarding this money. Actually, the total investment is now up to about $325,000 for 2020 that they've given to things like this. So since 1997, the USGA has invested more than $33 million among the First Tee, the LPGA, USGA Girls Golf, Drive, Chip, and Putt, all these things from the World Golf Foundation that they support. And it is good that they're putting this money back into golf. They're spreading it around a little bit. It's not all going to one place. So it is needed, and I'm glad they're doing it. I just would like to see them do a little bit more, Carlos.
I know you do. I know you do. I know you do.
I got some other pet projects too. If they want to call me, I would be happy to share with them. I know some places where they could spend some money. I'm really good at that.
You can spearhead them too, right? So
I
you
could.
can help them. Yeah. There you go. Contact Fred. Anyway, I know you want to talk about this story. It's really nice, very deserving as well. Renee Powell and Dana Rader, they receiving some deserving awards. So can you talk to us about them?
Just got the notice today or yesterday about the LPGA announcing, this is the LPGA professionals, okay? Not the LPGA Tour, but the LPGA professionals. These are the teaching ladies of the LPGA that announced their two new award winners. Renee Powell, who is an Ohio legend. We've had Renee on the show. I love her to death. She's fantastic. She has been awarded the 2020 Ellen Griffin Rolex Award. That award recognizes an individual who made a major contribution to the teaching of golf and who emulates Griffin's spirit, love, and dedication to students, teachers, teaching skills, and the game of golf. Nobody exemplifies that more than Renee Powell. She was a player back in the day. She played collegiately at Ohio State and at Ohio University. She was the second woman of color, the second African-American woman to play on the LPGA Tour. She had a lot of issues, had a lot of problems back then with race and problems with that. She is a legend in Scotland, in St. Andrews. They have a building named after her there. They've given her an honorary doctorate there. She takes kids to Africa. She does unbelievable stuff teaching golf. And her pet project right now is working with PGA Hope. And she's got about 60 women that participate in her former military veterans, ladies, who participate in her PGA Hope program there at her golf course Clearview outside of Canton. And she just does a wonderful job with that. Respect her to death. She does a wonderful, wonderful job. Diane Rader, who I really don't know, but she was awarded the Nancy Lopez Golf Achievement Award. It was created in 2007, given to a professional who emulates qualities valued by Nancy Lopez, the leadership, passion, giving, and approachability. She's a nationally recognized leader in the golf industry and has been the sole owner of the Dana Rader Golf School in the Ballantine Resort in North Carolina for a long time. So congratulations to these two women, especially to Renee Powell. Just love her to death, Carlos.
All right. So with that, we're going to go to our last piece of news. And this one definitely is one that you have to say.
This one hurts. This one really hurts, Carlos.
Really? Really hurts you? Really? I mean, really? I have my doubts about this. I'm getting mixed signals between your social media regarding this, especially your Facebook post, and what you're saying right now. It's like,
what are those 20,000 drunks going to do if they don't put up the stadium stands at the 16th hole at the Waste Management Phoenix Open in January? Oh my goodness. It's a national day of mourning for all those guys that like to party out there in the stadium around the 16th hole. So I'm kind of glad of it. I'm sure it'll be back in 2022, but they kind of pulled the plug on this a little early, but I'm sure they probably had to, because the tournament's in about third week of January, they probably had to start building this thing in November, right? So they're probably in the decision time of where do we do it, don't we do it, and they just decided not to this year. So kind of surprising that they're already tearing things down, not doing them for next year. But, you know, it's a sad day for drunks everywhere.
I mean, the greenest show on grass has taken a blow. We're more than 5 months away, but already the COVID-19 pandemic has impacted them. I mean, I heard Scott Jenkins, tournament chairman, last Wednesday when he said this. You know, most of the hospitality venues that normally make up the infrastructure of the grounds there at TPC Scott they will not be constructed for this edition. Uh, he said, you know, that he mentioned that they usually start building their venues in late September, early October. So if that's the case, then yeah, they're gonna have some impact on it. But definitely, you know, the host Thunderbirds, the tour, and Scottsdale and state's officials, they're devastated by this. I mean, there's not gonna be those 20,000 souls there. I'm very, very disappointed. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do. Well, maybe watch the Super Bowl. That's all there is. I mean, that's what they do anyway. So we'll see what happens. But with that, we're going to wrap up our Part 5 news. And now, Fred, tell us a little bit about this while I'm still trying to get this mounted here. So tell us a little bit about the practice range and what we're going to be talking about, the interview that I'm going to play pretty soon.
Yeah, Carlos. Len Ziem, real good friend of ours, lives in Florida, and he is a longtime golf writer in Chicago. Matter of fact, he's in the Illinois Golf Hall of Fame for his writing, sports writing and golf writing especially. Wrote for the Chicago Sun-Times for like 42 years or some such thing. I mean, like forever. The last 10 years, he's been traveling around the country and writing about golf travel. And so he took a trip earlier this year up into the Carolinas in June, just kind of test things out to see what it was really like while the pandemic was kind of in its, while we're still doing the self-quarantine thing. And he started a longer tour at the beginning of August. He came up through Georgia, stopped a couple places, came up through Kentucky, came to Toledo for about 3 days, and I took him around the Arthur Hills Golf Trail. We talk about that a little bit in this interview. And he went on up into Michigan. He's spent about 5 days in Michigan playing some golf and doing some things. So we talk about that it's okay to travel for golf right now, especially driving tours if you want to get out. So I think it looks like you got it ready. So if you want to go ahead.
Okay, let's start here. Hold on a second. Give me just 1 second to get this going.
We are happy to welcome back Chris Lusky to Back Nine Report. Chris was a long-time crew member, engineer, architect, designer.
I'm sorry, did you say something?
Wrong one. That's Lutsky Die.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. I got the wrong one. Of course I was going to get the wrong one. Again, you say a couple of things while I get it. I'm sorry about that.
Not a problem. One of the things that he was saying that, you just have to take appropriate precautions. Dining might be an issue. And I know we have gone out to different places. Some places you can go in and sit down. Other places you have to take out only. You might have to call ahead and they'll bring it out to the car for you. So traveling is a little different because of the dining aspect of it. You have to know a little bit about what you're doing. Resorts are taking every precaution possible to assure that every visitor has a safe and enjoyable stay. Driving trips, as I mentioned, are the most popular right now. And also places with lodges or cottages that can house several people have been extremely popular to keep a buddy's golf trip, a girls' golf getaway, or family to maintain that separation from the other guests of the resort. So when traveling, Make sure you check out the dining, the availability, what there is in the area. Also, maybe in the hotel, it might be changed. You may want to take out of someplace, take it back to your room or wherever you're staying to eat. Also, what type of lodging is available? If you want a cottage, if you got a larger group, a bigger family, maybe you don't want to go into a hotel room, maybe you want to stay in a cottage. So look and see where those are available also. So, Carlos, are you ready to go?
Almost. I'm about to. Let's do. Oh, it doesn't want to show it. This is incredible. That's what happens when you're trying to share things this way. I had it the other time. What happened here now? Let's see. One more time. Okay, folks. I am going to share it right now. Let's see. Advanced.
Len, we're up here in Michigan right now. You just came off a couple nights.
Can you hear it?
Yep, it's good. It's all good.
All right, let's do it now. Okay, here it is.
Len, we're up here in Michigan right now. You just came off a couple nice places, Forest Dunes and also Boyne Resort. Tell us a little bit about those two places that you were at.
Forest Dunes is what they've done there is just terrific. This time it was to see their new short course, and I had not seen their putting course. Great additions to a course that already had one of the best 18-hole courses in Michigan. Probably America's most unique golf course in the Loop, which is a reversible course. You can play it in two different directions. So that was always a pleasure. Boyne is a lot of golf to be played there. A lot of enthusiasm for it. Played, I think, 3 or 4 of the courses there, and can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's a great place. We love Boyne. We love Forest Dunes. They're some of our favorite places. But before you came into Michigan, you made a little stop in Toledo, and we traveled around and looked at some of the Arthur Hills Golf Trail courses. We started our trip really kind of with Maumee Bay. What did you think of that place? You actually stayed there, too, for your lodging.
Well, you know, that's a great deal there at Maumee Bay to stay in the lodging and to play the golf course. And also, not just that, but to take advantage of the other amenities offered there at a state park. It was an eye-opener for us, but it was just beautiful to get up in the morning to start the day looking at the shores of Lake Erie, and the beauty, go to bed at night looking at the same thing. It was a real treat, a place I'd want to go to again, mainly for the variety of it. I mean, the golf course was fine, a very good golf course. The array of amenities was the thing that really impressed us.
They really do a good job catering to children there, don't they? It's a great family because they have all kinds of activities there, even inside. You don't have to they got a beach and the water and all that, but they have a lot of stuff inside, too.
Yeah, of course, we were seeing the kids having a good time with the water and just being able to run, being able to get around and do a lot of things outside, the boating, and really a special place. I can see how it would really bring a lot of people in, especially right now where the being outdoors is just so important right now. It's something we all need to do more of, I think.
We were able to go down to Bowling Green to Stone Ridge one afternoon. We got rained out there, but we got about 8 holes in before we had to pack it in there. And it's just another great Arthur Hills golf course.
Yeah, it's a challenging one. It's the home course, as I understand it, of the Bowling Green University, and it was a tough track. It had some really good holes on it. I wish we could have finished it because I think I probably, from what I understand, we didn't see the best holes quite yet.
Then on your way up here, we stopped at Ann Arbor and played Stone Bridge, another great Arthur Hills track. We got to play all 18 there. That's a really nice facility.
That was just beautiful, just beautiful. It struck me about that place was it was a place with a lot of homes around it. And usually, you like to be separated from that, but that wasn't the case there. The homes were perfectly spaced away from the play, and there was a whole lot of beautiful flowering. They really were, the people who live there, I commend them. They made a beautiful location with all the plantings and flowers. It was really just a joy to be around, but bottom line, a great golf course.
The Arthur Hills Golf Trail, for people that don't know, are golf courses that Arthur Hills has designed or renovated or worked on around Toledo. And we have great value golf in the Toledo area, and a lot of people just don't know about it. And you could play all those golf courses, stay overnight, for about $100 a day, so per person. It works out pretty well. But Len, you had kind of curtailed some of your traveling this year due to the COVID-19, but you had a little trip earlier in the year, and now this is kind of an extended trip, going to be several weeks long. Tell us a little bit about what you've encountered traveling. Do you feel safe? Do you feel that people shouldn't be afraid to go out and travel and go to some golf resorts?
Yeah. You know, we did. We wanted to. This is our 11th year doing these kind of writing about largely travel. The first trip we took, a short one in June, to try to just get just into the Carolinas. Really just to get back and see what life was like away from our home in Florida. It was a very worthwhile trip. We got some family time in at Pinehurst and visited a great state park in Chirrah in South Carolina. So it was a very good trip. Now, this one has been much longer. But the point I think we should make here is that people can travel. You have to be careful. You have to realize that things are going to be a little bit different. You hopefully would see a lot of face masks, and you have to allow a little more time and I think you should be a little more cautious in picking out your restaurants and your hotels. But overall, I mean, you can get out, you can enjoy life. The golf is a wonderful thing to play at this time of the year. It's one of the few things you can really get out and do great degree of normalcy to it.
Len is one of our contributing writers for Ohio Golf Journal every month. You can read a lot of his travel information in there. You also have your own website. You still write a column for the Daily Herald in Chicago. You can see some of his stuff on Morning Read. So you're out there in a lot of different places. And you can also find your writing at Len Ziem on Golf.
LenZiemOnGolf.com has got all of it, from the travel reports to the tournament reports. And, you know, it's a combination blog, repertorial, backgrounder kind of a website. It's not designed to be a golf newspaper or anything like that, but I've been doing this stuff for 51 years, and so these last we collect the most of it at the last 10 years in there.
Well, Len, thanks so much. We've had a blast over the last week, spending a few days playing some golf and talking and eating. We've been doing really good.
Oh, we've been doing everything.
Really good eating, aren't we?
We got to do it again.
All right, Len, thank you so much.
All right.
Fred, eating? Really? Eating?
Yeah, we did really good eating. We had some great restaurants in Toledo, and it was a lot of fun. And we even cooked out one night at home, and then up here we had dinner together and grilled out again up here in Michigan. And so yeah, we do real well. We're +6 eaters, Carlos. We dine very well.
+6. I'm really 10 under at eating.
Well, you got a place here to go. I can't wait to get back to that Hard Eights. I just dream about that place, man.
We gotta go.
I can't wait to get back to there.
Hey, with that, we wrap up our practice range for this week, and now we're going to take our final putts. And I'm going to start talking about Hello Vegas Swing, because the PGA Tour announced yesterday that the CJ Cup, that scheduled for October 15 to 18 in Jeju Island, South Korea, is going to move to Shadow Creek Golf Course in Las Vegas. Yes. The tournament will follow the tour's annual stop at TPC Summerlin, which is the Trainers Hospitals for Children Open. So now that tells you the PGA Tour definitely was not, and we talked about this, was not going to go to Asia for that swing. They were not going to do that. So they're trying to do whatever is best to keep the tournaments, not canceling them. So some kind of agreement. You know, the club at Nine Bridges has hosted the CJ Cup since the fall of 2017. JT won there, and he's also the defending champion. Brooks won in the middle in 2018. So Shadow Creek is an exclusive 1989 Tom Fazio design. Previously hosted the match Tiger versus Phil, if you might remember, 2 years ago. So we'll see. The CJ Cup is slated as the 6th event of the 2020-2021 season. Will remain for now a 78-player field, limited right now field tournament and continue to invite a number of Korean golfers. We'll see how that works out because now they're not home. They're going to have to come here, and it will include the top 3 Koreans in the official World Golf Ranking and the top Korean on the Asians Tour Order of Merit. So, Fred, that's how about it. We still have no announcement made about the 2 international events after the CJ Cup, which is the Zozo Championship in Japan, and the WGC HSBC Champions that is in Shanghai. But I think you might expect something like this happening, maybe moving them here. And the logistics that I see is what's happening right now. A lot of the local players were looking forward to this event so that they can have their exposure to a major, not major, but a big time tournament with all the big pros coming in. What are you going to do? Because you're not taking your pros there, but you're going to have to bring them somehow. That's going to be the dynamic that we're going to have to be looking at this.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a whole different world, and it seems to be working well. The LPGA just did this. You know, they went to Scotland for 2 weeks. It worked okay for them. The jury's still going to be out. You know, as Michael Wan told us at the beginning of when they started back up, that the proof's going to be in the pudding after they come back from Scotland or over these next couple of weeks, where they're playing in Arkansas, they're playing in California, they're playing in Portland. So we'll see how this goes. We'll have to keep a close eye on it. But really, I find this surprising, Carlos. You know, we talked about Sophia Popov can't get in the ANA, and I just don't get that. My mind can't compute. Daniel Berger has not received an invitation to the Masters yet. How can you leave him out? He's won, he's played well. He's, in the top 10 in the FedEx Cup. Come on, Augusta National, get his invitation sent out there. And Carlos, this just came in this afternoon. Golf Data Tech announced that U.S. golf equipment sales reached an all-time greatest single-month retail sales total since the company started tracking data in 1997, 23 years ago. July's total on and off course equipment sales of 388.6 million bested the next 2 all-time highest sales months, which was June 2007 of 368 million and June 2006 of 364 million. 4 equipment categories were covered: balls, irons, wedges, and gloves. All set all-time monthly sales records. Golf is surging through all this, Carlos. We've seen it everywhere. Parking lots are full at golf courses. Tee sheets are full at golf courses. It's really a good time to be in the golf business right now, and it's following through on equipment sales and everything else. Just before I sign out here, Carlos, I want to mention the August issue of Ohio Golf Journal is still out there. Features golf news, driving golf trips. We talked about driving golf trips a little bit in the practice rounds tonight. They're safe, they're enjoyable, you can do them. You don't be afraid, go do it. Back Nine Report TV, we've got this full interview that you heard with Len Ziem. That was kind of an edited version. You can see the full thing on Back Nine Report TV on Roku or on YouTube, plus a bunch of other great video, Carlos. So back to you, buddy.
All right, Back Niners. That will wrap up another week of the Back Nine Report. Thank you for joining us. It's always our pleasure to bring you the latest on the world of golf. Special thanks to our VIG, very important guest of the week, Len Ziem. Don't forget to join us and see us again next week on YouTube. And if you miss it and want to listen to it, you can check out the audio version also on TuneIn. If you haven't done so, follow the show on Twitter. Our ID is at Back Nine Report with the number 9 in the middle. My name is Carlos Torres, along with Fred Altvater. We wish you to be happy, be blessed, and enjoy the great game of golf. Happy golfing, everybody.
Hope we see you on the Back Nine.